What's up, guys? We are live. We got a really good card this Saturday. Definitely, one of probably the most stacked cards of the year. Betting wise, I think it's a good card. I do think next week's probably a better card for betting. But without further ado, we got UFC 239. We got the return of the GOAT, John Jones versus Thiago Santos. We got a lot of good fights in here. We got Rockhold versus Jan Blachowicz. We got Nunes versus Holm. We got Masvidal versus Askren. And joining me as always is my co-host Kelton. What's up, Kelton? How do you like this card?
Man, how could you not love this card? I mean, you got the GOAT John Jones at the top, and bro, I was breezing through these Fight Pass prelims this morning, and goddamn, I mean, you got three absolutely amazing prospects, in my opinion, in Shabazi and Naurdiev, and then Julia Avila, man. I think all three of those have high futures, so it's just overall an amazing card. Coming off a really good one. I won 9 units last week, so definitely want to keep that going, man.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I mean, I'm so excited for UFC. Like for 9 weeks in a row, I think we have a UFC card, which is really good. I hate when we have a break. Yeah, without further ado, let's talk about this first one. I'm gonna let you go first. We got in the women's bantamweight division, we got the return. Not the return. I mean, we haven't seen her in a long time. We got Kianzad versus the newcomer Julia Avila. And who do you got in this fight, man?
Yeah, man, this is an interesting one. I believe Julia Avila's original opponent, I believe Melissa Gatto, she pulled out. Penny comes in here. She came into the Ultimate Fighter. She fought in the finale against Macy, and she got destroyed. She got cut. She won a fight outside the UFC, and here she is back, man. And I truly believe she was cut from the UFC for a reason, bro. I mean, this girl really has nothing to offer in that cage. I think she has some strong wrestling and she's really strong in the clinch. But when it comes to technique, dude, she just gets out techniqued every single time. I know Macy Chiesa is an absolute beast and everything, but even some of the tough fights against that Julia girl. I mean, that Julia girl is one of the worst fighters we've ever seen in the UFC, and that was an ugly fight. And even back in the day, getting subbed by Raquel Paul-Louis and absolutely battered by Tanya Evinger. I mean, Penny Kianzad is not UFC caliber. Now on the other side here, we got Julia Avila, who actually did have a full training camp for this one. She's super aggressive, man. Has a lot of power in her hands. Actually has some really good wrestling in BJJ too. I mean, this is the kind of girl we look for in women's MMA, like a real mean, tough, strong, powerful girl. And Julia Avila, in my opinion, really has all the tools to be a honest contender in this division, especially 135. 135 is arguably one of the weakest women's divisions there are. So I see Julia Avila coming out here, running through Penny Kianzad. I'm going to pick her via finish. I think she makes a statement. I think she gets a big fight afterwards, and I guarantee we're going to see this girl in the top 15. She is very, very good, dude. And even her one loss, if you happen to not see it. So this is how tough this girl, Julia Avila, is. She goes in there and she takes a kick to the finger. The bone is literally sticking out of her finger, and she's trying to pop the thing back in, and then the ref sees her trying to pop it back into her finger. Obviously, the ref had to protect the fighter. He had to stop the fight. But, yeah, man, that was just one fluky loss. She was going to win that fight anyway. This girl is undefeated in my eyes, and I'm going to say she wins via a second-round TKO. I have her in a 1.5 unit parlay.
Yeah, man. She has a pretty cool nickname. I'll say that, the Raging Panda. That might be one of the best nicknames in the UFC. Yeah, going into this fight, pre-tape, I was talking to you out there. I thought that Penny could be live because, I mean, I like her striking. She has pretty technical striking, good striking, but, I mean, she doesn't really have a ground game. You can take her down pretty easily. You saw Chiesa. I mean, Chiesa's a striker, man. I mean, but, I mean, ever since she's moved to Fortis MMA, her grappling's been a lot better, and I mean, she took her down at ease and tapped her out pretty easily. Yeah, but Julia Avila, she has good wins. She's beaten Marion Renault. She's, a finisher as well. Like you said, she has a lot of toughness. She's really good on top too. She's definitely a beast on top, and she's good everywhere, man. So I do think she's gonna, win a lot of fights in UFC. So I'll go with her. I think she gets a clear-cut decision. I don't know if she's gonna finish Kianzad because Kianzad's pretty tough. I mean, she's been finished before, but I think Avila might, get a 29-28 decision win. So next fight, we got another fight I believe you have a play on. We got Chance Rencountre versus, we got, Ishmael Naurdiev. And, I'll start off with this one first. I'll keep it short and sweet. I do, I don't agree with the line at all. I do think that it should be closer. I know that you agree with the line because you have a play on it, but watching the tape, I do think Naurdiev is a good prospect for sure. I mean, doing that to Michel Praceres, 30-27, I think it was maybe 29-28, but I do think he definitely won that fight, obviously. That was really impressive. I mean, Praceres was on an 8-fight winning streak, and, Praceres really hasn't beaten the best competition, I will say that. I mean, he's beating Zach Cummings. He's beating Desmond Green. I mean, still though, I mean, it was a really impressive performance. But I mean, the thing is, this guy's really young. I'm not going to say he's a little green. I will say that, but I mean, he has a really good record. But we've seen this guy get taken down. Like, I mean, in the past. I mean, Michel Praceres did it too, but like 4 fights ago, he lost a decision. So I want to see how he looks in this fight because, to be honest, before Rencountre went in UFC, I thought he was a jobber. I didn't see that much on the tape, but losing to Bilal in his debut, like, I'll give him a pass. Bilal's a good fighter. Bilal's right outside the top 15. Bilal is going to be a top 15 guy in the future. And he even hurt Bilal too. And Bilal, won every round. But then against Kyle Stewart, Kyle Stewart's 11-1 guy. Or I'm sorry, he was an undefeated guy going into that fight. He has some pretty good wins on the, outside UFC. And Rencountre just dominated him. Dude smoked him in that first round. Honestly, man, Rencountre trains in Alliance. Like, he has good grappling. Like, he was, I'm pretty sure he wrestled in college as well. He's a big dude for the division. He does have that tall man's defense. He has a good chin. He has good striking, too. Like, he's a brawler. But the thing is, I got to give the edge to Naurdiev on the feet. On the ground, though, like, even though Naurdiev has good wrestling, good grappling, I think Chance has the better wrestling, man. So I think if Chance gets his fight to the mat, he has the advantage. But on the feet, I got to give it to the faster guy. Definitely, Naurdiev is more technical, but I don't think he's going to finish Chance. I really don't. I'll be surprised if he finishes Chance. So I'm going to go with Naurdiev by a close decision, and I really think the line is off. I know you have a play on Naurdiev. I do think he's going to win, but Chance is 100% live at these odds. I'm not going to play it because I do think that Naurdiev is just the cleaner striker, the more technical striker. But this fight's going to be closer, man. He's not going to finish Chance, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, man. So you said it. I'm very high on this guy, Ismail Naurdiev. I've gone on record to say after that Praceres fight, I think this guy's going to be if not a future title holder, a future title challenger. I mean, this guy. So he comes into the UFC short notice debut, 22 years old, against Tractor Praceres, who's on like a 8 or 9 win streak. And you talked about a couple of his wins, the Des Green and the Zach Cummings, dude. How about the Tysonov win and the Gilbert Burns win as well? I mean, that dude Praceres, I mean, he's 26-2. I mean, I was just so impressed by Naurdiev. He was just absolutely like neutralizing everything Praceres had for him, man. And the fact that he could do that, he stayed so composed at 22 years old in his debut. I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy, bro. And I mean, when it comes to his actual skill set, I mean, he's covered in all areas. I mean, he's been doing Greco-Roman since he was a kid. They don't call him the Austrian Wonder Boy for nothing. The dude can strike as well. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I mean, this guy is fucking good everywhere, man. And I know he did take a couple losses, but hey, man, I mean, he was super young. He got them out of his way. He's already 18-2 at 22 years old. He's been competing in combat sports his entire life now. Chase Rencountre, I actually have a lot of respect for too, man. I was really impressed by his performance last time against Kyle Stewart. Was that his name? Yeah, Kyle Stewart is definitely not the best in the world. I wouldn't even go as far to say he's even UFC caliber. He's all right. But yeah, I mean, he finished him exactly like he was supposed to. Chase Rencountre is definitely UFC caliber, and I hope they eventually remake that Randy Brown versus Chase Rencountre fight because I think that's a really interesting stylistic matchup. But
that's a really good. I know how I got there. That's a good fight.
Yeah, that's a really good fight. But yeah, man, with this one, I mean, Chance, obviously his strength, in my opinion, his very best asset is his strength in the clinch and the wrestling and the grappling exchanges. And yeah, I think he could probably take down Naurdiev a couple times here. But yeah, I mean, look how Naurdiev was able to defend and fight off Praceres when he was taking him down. In my opinion, Praceres, I mean, he's definitely a different guy than Chase Rencountre. I mean, Praceres is what, 5'6". Chase Rencountre is 6'2". I actually think for a wrestler that probably worked in Praceres's favor, being shorter. Chase Rencountre being a taller guy, it's gonna be harder to get a hold of those legs. I think I think Naurdiev is just going to have an answer for every single thing Chase Rencountre does. Even when he gets him down, I think Naurdiev will be able to reverse him and beat him up, man. Now, Chase has never been finished, so I have a hard time picking Naurdiev by finish here, but I'm going to say he wins a very clear 30-27 decision. And even at the 9,300, I want to say he is, maybe even a little more than that, 94, I still think he's going to pay that off, man. I mean, he definitely throws a lot of strikes. I can see him dropping Rencountre. I can see him getting a lot of advances here, reversals. I think Naurdiev probably, even in a decision win, I think he might still be worth it there, man. I mean, and who knows? He could get a finish here. I mean, I don't think Chance has seen something like this guy. This guy is literally the future, man. So I got Naurdiev by decision to get the job done. I actually have him in that parlay with Julia Avila, and I got him in another parlay too. So I'm definitely all in on Naurdiev. I got 2.5 units on him altogether.
This kid has a lot of potential for sure, but I mean, I think Bilal's a better fighter than him right now, and that was on his debut, on short notice. So honestly, I agree. I do think that Naurdiev is going to win, but I think it's a lot closer. I think the line is so off. I think he's a live dog. I'm just not going to bet Chance just because I think Ishmael's going to win. But I mean, I think it's close. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I don't think Chance is that bad. Like, it's funny. In the past, I thought Chance was not. He's not a jobber, man. Like, Chance is definitely going to win UFC fights, and even Stewart's going to win UFC fights. Like, a little spoiler alert, but Kyle Stewart is going to absolutely smoke Eric Koch. Like, I can't wait until that line comes out.
That was a thing.
So
that's a good fight.
I mean, dude, Kyle Stewart's that's easy money. But anyways, Eric Koch has no business fighting anymore. But yeah, I think Naurdiev's going to win, but I think Chance is a live dog for DraftKings. So I'm gonna be kicking myself if Chance wins, but I hope you win because I'm not playing it. So next fight, this is dude. I mean, we're so high in this kid, man. We got Edmen Shabazian versus Jack Marshman, and yeah, man, who do you got?
Man, we have such a past with Mr. Edmen Shabazian, even 2 fights into the UFC. So he comes in against Darren Stewart. We take Darren Stewart in that spot, and hey, man, Darren Stewart put up a good fight. He had some moments, but Edmen showed that he is just, again, along with Naurdiev, I'm so happy to see these guys in back-to-back fights because these are 2 insanely good prospects, man. I mean, we've seen it all from Edmen Shabazian at this point. The guy can box. The guy has heavy power in his hands. The guy can wrestle his ass off. He can hold on to you. He has heavy ground pound. I mean, this dude, Edmen, is very special, and he's definitely he's got a bit of an easier fight than Ismail Naurdiev does, in my opinion. We got Jack Marshman here, who, in my opinion, and probably your opinion as well, we thought Jack Marshman lost that fight to John Phillips.
100%.
Now it's definitely a lot different of a fight here because Edmen Shabazian doesn't just have to strike with this guy. Edmen Shabazian can probably throw this guy all over the octagon if he really wants to. And we've been hearing things about Jack Marshman stepping away from the sport any day now for a while now, and I mean you can see it in his performances too. In my opinion, like from the moment he came into the UFC on his debut against Magnus Siedenblad, and I bet Marshman there, by the way, at like plus 200 against Siedenblad. That's when he was like first entering in the UFC. He was super hungry. Now he's taking some L's, and it just seems like his confidence and his hunger is not nearly as high, and you can definitely see that. And this guy, Edmen, I mean, he could not be any hungrier than he is now. So I like Edmen wherever the fight goes, man. I think it's probably going to take a bomb from Marshman on the feet to get him out of there to get a victory. In my opinion, it's probably a KO or bust situation. No surprise. I'm going to go with the minus favorite. Edmen and John Jones have kind of been trading off that spot of biggest favorite on the card. Right now it's John Jones, but we'll see what happens on fight day. Yeah, I got Edmen. I got him at like minus 400. He's minus 650 now. I got him in a 3-leg parlay with Naurdiev and somebody else later in the card, and I got him in a 2-leg parlay with somebody.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with this kid. I mean, we faded him for a reason because he's a can crusher. He hasn't been out of the first round, and he showed so much heart, and we never even seen his grappling before. The guy's like a knockout artist, and then we see his grappling against Darren Stewart. We see his freaking cardio, his heart. Like, he gassed a little bit, but, dude, that guy's chin and his heart, and for him to get that win, like, I bet on Darren Stewart. We both did, but let's be honest. It was a split decision. Edmen clearly won that fight. He clearly won those first 2 rounds, and he dug deep in that 3rd round against a guy who just beat Bavon Lewis. And Darren the Dentist Stewart is no slouch, man. Like he's a good fighter, man. And then what he did to Charles Byrd. Oh my God, dude! Like, Edmen is legit.
I forgot to say we both took him there, babe.
Yeah, we both bet him, man, against Charles Byrd. Edmen is legit. I really think this guy, man, has a lot of hype, but for good reason. He's good everywhere, man. And Jack Marshman, like he's just not that good. I think he's on the way out. I think he's slow. His chin's not good. Like, I think Edmen's better everywhere, man. I think Edmen's just so much better on the feet, so much faster, and I think he's gonna dust him in 1 round. So I got Edmen Shahbazyan by a 1st round finish in under 2 minutes, and they got to give him a big fight next, dude. I think they're gonna give him Darren win. And I mean, that's a good fight, honestly. 2 really good prospects, but if not, I mean, they got to give him I bet Edmen versus Andrew Sanchez. I mean, they got to give him like a big fight. I think they got to give him a top 15 guy or something, because this kid's for real, man. He's gonna be. I'm sure you agree with me on this, but I think he's a top 5. He's gonna be a top 5 guy, bro. Like, he could even be farther than that, dude. This kid is legit. So next fight, man, we got Alejandro Perez versus Song Yadong. I know you were thinking about making a play in this fight, but you know what, man? I'll say this. He's a weasel for sure, Perez, and he has a lot of wins, but he's gotten lucky, man, for sure. I do think Cody definitely won that fight, last fight. I mean, the fight with what's the freaking Sukumatov, he gets dropped 3 times. Like, he has good technical striking, but I mean, Song Yadong, man, like, just like we were talking about Edmen, like, I like this kid, dude. This dude has a good future. This dude is so good on the feet, so explosive, trains at a good camp. Good grappling. Like, he's so fast, man. This guy hits like a truck, dude. I really don't think this is the fight to fade Song Yadong. And honestly, I think Song Yadong is going to be a top 10 guy. Like, this guy's good, dude. I'm really impressed with this kid. I like the guy's striking. I like his grappling. I mean, the dude's like, come on. Like, how old is this kid, dude? Like, this dude's like, what, 21, 22? People think he's 30. Like, I think this guy is for real, man. I think he's going to go out there and finish Alejandro Perez. So I'm going to go with Song Yadong. I think he's going to knock him out. And Alejandro Perez is no slouch. The dude, was on a really impressive winning streak. But I will say this, though. This is definitely the toughest task for Song Yadong for sure. But, I mean, I think Song Yadong's good, and I think he's going to go out there and knock him out. So I got Song Yadong with a knockout. What about you?
Yeah, man. So it's funny. Like, as soon as this fight got announced, my initial thought was, oh, man, there's no way Alejandro Perez is going to be able to weasel this beast out. And then I start to research it at the beginning of fight week, and I start to see some things like Alejandro Perez is definitely the more experienced guy. I feel like his striking is just slightly more polished and educated. I feel like his footwork will probably be better in there. It's just that Song Yadong is, I mean, he's a total beast. He has power in his hands. He can wrestle his ass off too. I mean, he's very, very good. So you're right. I was thinking about taking a 1 or 2 unit shot on Alejandro Perez at plus 200 odds. But, man, I mean, you also see how often this guy gets hurt in fights. I mean, we don't even got to talk about that embarrassing-ass Patrick Williams loss where he got rocked in like 20 seconds and standing guillotine. I mean, you brought it up, that Sukumatov fight where he got dropped a few times. Now, Sukumatov is a very, very technical striker, but I mean, you look at Alejandro's record, and you can see 7-2 in the UFC. I mean, that's insanely impressive. Alejandro Perez is going to be in the UFC for a very long time, in my opinion. It's just, I mean, you look at those wins, and Scott Jorgensen, Ian Entwistle, Andre Sukumatov, which arguably could have gone the other way, Yuri Alcantara, who's on the way out, Matthew Lopez, who probably doesn't have business in the UFC, and then Eddie Wineland's probably his best win, especially when you just saw how good Eddie looked against that newcomer. But again, Eddie Wineland is kind of a guy on the way out, and Eddie Wineland arguably almost won that fight, dude. It was very, very close. And then, man, Cody Stamann, I bet on I have a huge history of betting on Alejandro Perez. I took the 1 or 2 unit shot there against Cody Stamann, just completely ignoring that the matchup it didn't favor Perez well at all, just because he's a weasel. He steals those rounds. He knows when to pick his shots and slow the fight down. But Cody Stamann is another guy who's incredibly good at knowing how to win rounds and gaining top control. And even Cody Stamann's striking has improved quite a bit. So I don't know. It's weird because we haven't seen Alejandro Perez fight a guy like this in quite some time. And I'm not really sure where Song Yadong's at completely because again, this is a really, really big step up, man. Like, I do have respect for Vince Morales. I think Vince Morales is going to hang around in the UFC for a while, but I think Alejandro Perez is definitely a step or two above that guy. So at the current line, I'd still say that the value is Alejandro Perez, but I'm going to go with Song Yadong here. I think he's going to drop him a couple times, land some takedowns. I just think he's going to be doing a lot more. I think while it's on the feet, it's going to be very close, if not with Alejandro landing more volume. I just see Song Yadong's shots having more effect, and then the wrestling as well. So I'll go with Song Yadong. I'm going to say he wins a 29-28 unanimous decision here. And when it comes to DraftKings, man, I mean, we know we don't have a lot of mid-range guys to go with, but the way I'm approaching this one, actually, I mean, when I was initially making my lineups, I did have a lot of Alejandro Perez just because he's an underdog. I felt like had a good chance of winning, but when I really look at him, man, even if he does come out here and win this fight, I mean, you look at his scores, it's usually low output decisions. It's usually like 60, 70 points. So I feel like even if you kind of like Alejandro Perez to win this fight, you kind of got to fade it on DraftKings because he doesn't score that highly. He's not going to come out here and win anybody that 100K this weekend. So Song Yadong's going to be the play for me on DraftKings as well, man. So I like this kid. So we're moving on to the next one. We got let me get it here. Oh, we got the chick fight number 2. We got Claudia Gadelha minus 235 taking on random Markos plus 195. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I took a small 1.5 unit shot on random Markos here at plus 200 odds to win 3 units. I mean, there's a lot of I like about this dog spot, man. I mean, you got one fighter where the stock is raising. You got one fighter where the stock is clearly declining. And the one with the raising stock is plus 200 in a women's fight, which already women's fights are hard to call anyway. So the right way to go probably is with the dog money. And, you know, it's not even just dog money. It's dog money on a very proven fighter in Random Markos, man. I feel like since her UFC debut against Jessica Penne, where, yeah, she was taken down in that fight, I mean, you can clearly see she's a lot more comfortable in the octagon now. I mean, she's got her training in. Like, she trains with a good group of people. She's got that Iranian wrestling in her blood, man. I mean, she can wrestle. She can fend off takedowns. It's just about her being more comfortable in the octagon because, in my opinion, like, especially with her putting her striking together now, I mean, she's a pretty complete martial artist at this point. She's definitely in the prime of her career where I feel like you can't really say that about Claudia Gadelha anymore. Claudia Gadelha has definitely taken some serious beatings in the octagon at this point by Joanna and Jessica Andrade. And yeah, you can say that's Joanna and Jessica Andrade, but I mean, you could clearly see the beatings have taken an effect on her. Claudia Gadelha is once no longer as confident in the octagon as she once was, and the gas tank, that's always been a problem, man. And I feel like that's probably going to come into play here, man. I feel like that first round, Claudia Gadelha probably will land takedown. She's going to do her thing. Man, when Claudia Gadelha is fresh, she is a top 5 fighter. It's just once it hits that point in the second or third round, she just immediately, like, declines. She's just not very good at all. And you saw the Nina Ansaroff fight where I believe Nina, like, completely doubled the output of strikes than Claudia Gadelha did. Again, Claudia landed takedowns in the beginning of the fight, and that's probably what she's going to do here. But I see Randa doing enough in that first round to defend the takedowns, work her way back up to the feet, make Claudia take her down again, make Claudia work her ass off. So when that second round comes around, you are the better conditioned fighter by a mile. And I see Randa Markos being able to stuff those takedowns in rounds 2 and 3. And on the feet, I think she's going to box Claudia Gadelha up. So I'm not very confident, but I just feel like that line's very off. So got 1.5 units on Markos plus 200. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, this is definitely a close fight. You know, the line is way off for sure. Claudia, you know, in my opinion, is on a 3-fight losing streak. I mean, she definitely lost to Esparza. I mean, Esparza, dude, was like her boxing her up on the feet. I mean, I know she got taken down a lot, but still, though, I do think Esparza should have won that fight. Esparza didn't even hurt her, too, which is crazy because Esparza is, like, not known for, you know, her striking, her power, or anything on the feet, really. So, you know, I faded Claudia with Andrade. I mean, I got a lot of shit for that. I remember that because she was on a 2-fight winning streak. She just tapped out, you know, KK in, like, 2 minutes. And, you know, everyone's like, that was a terrible bet. And Andrade, like, freaking dominated her. Andrade, like, could have easily changed her life, dude, for sure. I mean, Claudia has not been looking good. Her gas tank's terrible. You know, she changed cam, so, you know, who knows? You know, she might look better. I don't know. You know, Markos has definitely improved for sure. I mean, you know, that fight against Hill, that was impressive. No one really finishes Angela Hill. I talk a lot of crap in Angela Hill, but I mean, still though, you know, Angela Hill has a good chin, man, and she's known for that. So the fact, and she's, you know, really tough to finish. So the fact that she went out there and finished her, man, that was impressive. You know, I don't know, man. I think both these girls just aren't really good on the feet. So I feel like it's going to be one of those fights where I think Claudia definitely is going to win the first round. I mean, she's going to win the first round for sure, but, you know, she's going to fade. You know, Markos doesn't have the best gas tank either. You know, Markos, you know, she was good last fight, but the fight with Marina Rodriguez, like, dude, like, she just stopped fighting after that first round. So I don't know, man, what's going to happen in this fight. It's close, like, for sure, but I think Claudia's going to get back in the win column. I hope you and Diehard haven't made Clinton cash, but I think Claudia's going to win the first 2 rounds, and then, you know, she's going to fade for sure, but I think she's going to take her down, kind of just control her on the feet. I think it's close in the feet. I think they both have, like, you know, decent striking, but I got Claudia by a very close decision. She might weasel it too. It might be one of those decisions where, you know, Marco should get it, but I'm going to go with Claudia. So next fight, we got Marlon Chito Vera versus the newcomer Noah Hernandez. And yeah, I was actually going to fade, you know, Sugar Sean O'Malley with Chito. I like O'Malley, though, dude, for sure. Like, the dude's been looking, you know, good. Long way off, though. I think Chito's a good fighter. And, you know, this fight's just kind of, you know, clear cut. I think Chito's better everywhere. I don't think this Hernandez kid is, you know, anything special. He's been tapped out like 3 times, including his amateur career. So, I mean, I think Chito has a huge advantage on the mat. And let's be honest, dude, Chito's striking's improved a lot, dude. Chito, like, has been killing guys, man. And Frankie Saenz is no slouch, dude. I mean, Chito went out there and crushed him, dude. So I think Chito's going to go out there and crush this dude and I think get a top 15 guy. Like, I bet Chito Vera 100% versus Alejandro Perez. I think Chito Vera would beat Cody Stamann too. So I think Chito needs to get a big fight next. So I'm going to go Chito by a first-round finish. What about you?
Yeah, man, when we talk about fighters that have come a long way, Chito Vera has definitely come to mind from back in the day when he was losing to, what's his name, Davy Grant, the British guy, even though that fight was kind of bullshit. I mean, since then, bro, I mean, he had 3 straight wins, with one of them being his most impressive, in my opinion, with the Brian Kelleher win. So, dude, Brian Kelleher was coming off submitting Yuri Alcantara with that tight-ass guillotine. Brian Kelleher actually has some very underrated jiu-jitsu. He was coming off that win. Kelleher was like minus 220 in that spot. Chito Vera comes out and subs him. I think the Chito Vera by submission prop that night was like plus 1,000 or some crazy shit. So Chito Vera, obviously, insanely good jiu-jitsu. And then the John Lineker fight, dude, like, yeah, he lost a clear-cut unanimous decision, but I think he showed a lot in that fight, even won the 3rd round, and that's top 10 John Lineker right there, which, dude, speaking of John Lineker, can you fucking believe how they cut? Like, let's quit talking about this fight for a sec. How the fuck are you going to cut John Lineker, dude? Why? Just because he pulled out of a couple fights? I mean, he's your most exciting fighter. It's not like he hasn't been inactive. I mean, he's been fighting every single year. I mean, why would they do this?
Yeah, I don't get it. But I think they're sending a message because I mean, the whole weight cut thing, like, he's definitely failed a lot of, like, he's definitely, you know, like, missed weight. But, I mean, this whole thing right here was a weight cut too. And, I mean, he's pulled out a lot. So, I mean, I think they're sending a message, man. Maybe they'll sign him again, but I don't agree with it at all. But he has been pulling out a lot of fights, man. So, you know, Dana White, I don't know. I don't agree with it, but who knows?
I mean, man, at least we get to see the possibility of John Lineker versus Horiguchi, or John Lineker versus Demetrius out there in one, or Lineker versus Bibiano Fernandez. I mean, there's awesome fights out there to make for Lineker, but yeah, I just wanted to say that's completely bullshit. But back to Chito Vera, man, like, yeah, that Lineker win was very impressive. The Andrade one, I mean, dude, you're out there in Brazil fighting the most juiciest of juiced bantamweights in the entire division. I mean, he just got outgunned there. I mean, the strikes and the pressure of Andrade was just a little too much. I feel like maybe if they rematch in the States, could be a little bit different of a story. But the Luigi Byrne one finished him, finished Canetti, finished Saenz. So he's coming off 3 finishes here, man. Chito definitely is a born finisher. Most of his wins are by finish. So I mean, I definitely think even at 9,500 on DK, Chito probably could come out here and probably get a submission against Noellen. Now, Noellen's never been knocked out, but if you guys happen to catch that fight he had against the 1-2 guy, Fierce Taylor Jr., and keep in mind this was not all that long ago. This is less than 2 years ago. Coming out here against a 1-2 guy and Fierce Taylor, I mean, that dude Taylor, he's jacked to the gills and everything. He definitely has pop in his punches, but there was just zero technique behind it, and he kind of just threw one of those close your eyes and hope for the best punches, and he landed it, and then he was able to get the submission after that. This guy Hernandez is definitely vulnerable, and I'll say he's definitely improved since then. He's won most of his fights. I want to say 7 out of his last 8. But the thing is, most of those wins they were all very, very close. Like, he's not coming out here and outclassing these guys. I'm going to be honest, I'm very surprised he was even given an LFA main event in the first place. Not really sure what's up with that. I don't know how hard they're reaching for talent these days, but yeah, man, I just think this guy's nowhere near Chito's level. Chito has him covered in all areas. It should be an easy win for him. I'm going to say Chito drops him and ends up getting I'll say an armbar submission. So second round armbar for Chito Vera. So moving on to the next one, man. Man, this is the big one for me. We got Arnold Allen. He's minus 345. He's taking on old Gilbert Melendez plus 285. First time we're seeing old Gilbert Melendez here in quite some time. I want to say this is his first fight since 2016. I want to say. Let me check that old record. It was the Jeremy Stevens. Okay, it was 2017, and he actually competed in a grappling bout against Pat Healy since then too. But hey, that's Pat Healy. But yeah, when it comes to this fight, man, like Arnold Allen, like there's definitely concerns when Arnold Allen is going to fight like a real good fighter in his prime, because simply on the feet, like the output just isn't that much, which is fine because that's not really Allen's bread and butter. I mean, most of his impressive highlights, in my opinion, has been some of his wrestling and his reversals and his top control. I mean, Arnold Allen's a very capable grappler. I mean, that Mads Burnell fight, a lot of people bring up that Mads Burnell fight like Gilbert Melendez is just going to be able to come out here and like throw Allen around like Mads Burnell did. Dude, let me tell you, that dude Mads Burnell should have never been cut from the UFC. That guy's very, very good. And even then, dude, Arnold Allen showed the heart of a lion, came back, submitted him in the third round, showed he can overcome adversity. His last fight against Rinaldi, Jordan. Dude, I thought that Jordan Rinaldi fight was like the most mature performance of his career, man. I believe this guy is finally starting. Yeah, definitely, man. Just looked like a elite fighter out there, in my opinion. Definitely his best one to date. He's just now entering his prime, where on the other side you got Gilbert Melendez, who probably left his prime, I want to say, around the Benson Henderson or the Anthony Pettis fights. That was around like 2013, 2014. Now you look at his record, he is like 1-5 in the UFC. Granted, it gets all 5 losses against good fighters, but still, man, even that one win he had, which indeed was his last win, the last time Gilbert Melendez won a fight was 6 years ago. And he was supposedly the number 1 or number 2 ranked guy in the world, taking on Diego Sanchez, who that's around the time Diego Sanchez started to decline pretty hard, and Gilbert Melendez was like a minus 600 in that fight. Dude, you don't have an all-out war with Diego Sanchez. You don't have a moment where you almost get finished by Diego Sanchez. I mean, you're supposed to come out here and smoke Diego Sanchez. We'll talk about that in a second. But my Lord, man. And then that's his last win. Since then, finished by Perez. The Eddie Alvarez fight was, that was ugly, man. Eddie won that with one eye, if we're being real here. And then the Barboza fight, he was just not able to really do anything. Those kicks were just too much. And then Jeremy Stevens, his first cut back down to, or I say back down, I think that's his first cut to 145. Like, you could see that extreme weight cut to 145 definitely played a toll on Gil. He just wasn't able to get anything going. Now, you could credit that to him fighting a top 15 guy in Stevens, but, he fared just well against top 15 guys back in the day. I mean, there's all the evidence in the world for a decline and all that stuff, and now he's coming off a layoff, hasn't won in 6 years, and he's fighting a guy who's just now entering his prime. I feel like how they match up on the feet, like, yeah, Allen doesn't have the most output in the world, but I feel like Gilbert Melendez probably won't have the most output in the world at this point either, and Arnie is going to have the way better timing. He's faster. I just feel like he's going to be landing like 3 or 4 shots for every one Gil lands. And when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling, like I feel like Arnold probably will want to stay away from there because obviously the easy route to victory here is just to stuff and outstrike Gil relatively easy. But I feel like he could take down Gil, and on the other side, I feel like it's Gil's one path to victory for him to wrestle Arnold Allen here and hold down top position. I mean, you can even see if you look at Gilbert Melendez's Instagram, most of his training camp for this one, he's in that wrestling singlet, man. He's out there wrestling for this camp. That's clearly his game plan, and even if he tries to do that, I feel like Arnold Allen is going to be able to out-scramble him, reverse him, get on top himself, stand back up to the feet, or hold that top control, land some ground and pound. Really whatever he wants to do in this fight, man. So I'm just sold on Allen completely here. I feel like he wins this fight wherever it goes. I got one of my biggest plays of the year, 7 units down on Arnold Allen at -225. He's around -400 now, man. I believe you're on him as well. Team Bro picks on this one. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I have Arnold Allen parlay with Alonzo Menefield from last week, and I got that parlay at +102. So I have Allen straight right now. I hope he wins. I think he's going to win. I mean, Arnold Allen, man's a good fighter. He's 5-0 in the UFC. I will say that, out of all the wins or all the losses that Melendez has had, all those, they're pretty good, pretty good guys. Jeremy Stevens, well, he's on the decline now for sure. Barbosa decline. All those guys. But still, though, Allen has, the guy is, a young guy. He's in his prime right now, like you mentioned. His straight left is probably his best weapon on the feet. I mean, he looks so good against Rinaldi. I know he didn't finish him, but I feel like he could have. Like, he hurt him multiple times. He fought a really, calm, cool, collected fight, won every round. The Maz Burnell fight, that was a 1-1 fight going in the third, and then he tapped him out. I mean, the fight of Makwan or Makani, that shouldn't even have split. That was a clear-cut decision win, in my opinion, for Arnold Allen. The guy's really good, man. And Melendez is on the decline. The guy just shouldn't be fighting anymore, man. Just one of those things like Matt Wyman. I know it's not that big of a layoff, but this dude should not be fighting anymore. He's taking so much damage on the feet. I know Arnold Allen's not really a finisher, but I think Arnold Allen's going to hurt him on the feet, man. And I think he's going to finish him. I really do. It's just one of those fights where Melendez, he was a good fighter, man. He was. But come on, he was 1-5 in the UFC. Diego Sanchez won a round against him. This dude has no business, I feel like, fighting anymore, man. He's on the decline 100%. So, yeah, he beat Masvidal in the past. Yeah, he beat Josh Thompson in the past. But come on, man, this is now. He's 1-5 in his last 6 fights. It's over, man. This guy's done. He's gonna retire after this fight, and Arnold Allen's gonna embarrass him, in my opinion. So I got Arnold Allen by. I'm gonna go with the first round finish. I really do.
Wow.
So next fight. Speaking of finishes, we got Michael Chiesa, first fight of the main card versus Diego Sanchez. It's a good fight, man. I do think that Michael Chiesa is going to go out there and steamroll him. I don't agree with the line. I think Chiesa, should probably be favored -500 in my opinion. I don't think Diego Sanchez. I got to give him credit for the Mickey Gall fight, but then again, Mickey Gall is garbage, dude. Mickey Gall, I don't know why I bet him versus Randy Brown. Is a terrible bet. I mean, hey, he won the second round. He almost tapped out Randy Brown, but yeah, Mickey Gall sucks. Mickey Gall is not UFC material. Diego Sanchez at the end of his career, the guy has no chin. Mickey Gall hurt him on the feet. It is embarrassing. Michael Chiesa's striking's improved a lot. I mean, the guy dropped Jorge Masvidal. He's really awkward on the feet. That's the thing, but he's a really good grappler. I mean, I think Diego Sanchez is just outbeat wherever the fight goes. Chiesa's, a tank at 170. He's huge at 170. I mean, yeah, he's dropped the ball for sure, but I don't think this is the fight to fade Chiesa. I'll be fading him, in the future for sure. If he fought my boy Nico Price, Michael Chiesa would get deaded in 1 round. But, yeah, Michael Chiesa is better, I think, everywhere the fight goes. And I think he's going to go out there and finish Diego the Nightmare Sanchez. So I got Chiesa. I think he's going to hurt him bad. I mean, this guy's good in the clinch. I forgot about talking about that. His striking, is decent. He's technical, but, dude, in the clinch, he's nasty. And, I mean, on the mat, Diego Sanchez, that's where he's good at the mat. But Chiesa's better on the mat. So I got Chiesa. I'm going to go with the first round TKO. I think he's going to get on top and just pound him out. What about you?
Man, yeah, you made a lot of good points. Chiesa's got some awkward power, bro. It's interesting. That James Vick knockout, and then I've seen him hurt some other guys. Definitely not anywhere near, the top half of the best strikers in the division. Nowhere near it, but definitely has power. I mean, facing a guy like this and Diego Sanchez, don't be shocked at all if Chiesa puts Diego Sanchez on his ass. where Diego is at in his career now, dude, I definitely have a hard time picking Diego Sanchez in this spot, but I kind of feel like he has a way better chance than a lot of the other big underdogs on this card. I mean, reason one being, like, Chiesa is a bed shitter, dude. Like, he's come out and shit the bed in a lot of spots like this. And, I mean, he was fighting, I know it was back in the day, it was a few years ago, but he kind of had a similar spot to this when he was fighting Joe Lozon. Joe Lozon is on the decline as well. And, you can argue he was winning that fight, man, and it was kind of a bullshit stoppage, but hey, he came out there and lost to Joe Lozon in Joe Lozon's decline. And don't be surprised if some shit like that happens here with Diego Sanchez. I feel like maybe all it could take is Diego Sanchez to land one big overhand, land a takedown, land some real heavy ground and pound. And we've seen Chiesa quitting there, bro. So, I mean, I think Diego Sanchez he's still a very capable wrestler, a really strong guy. Neither of these guys are cutting much weight for this one at 170. Actually, I should take that back, because if you look at Chiesa's Instagram, the dude has definitely put on size. I mean, you look at pictures of him before the Condit fight and then pictures of him now for this one. That's another thing. I just brought it up to myself, the Carlos Condit fight. You're supposed to come in there and run through Carlos Condit. Now, I know he got the finish and everything, but goddamn were there scary moments in that fight, man. I have no idea how you could have confidence parlaying up Michael Chiesa here at minus 400. Even if it is against a guy like Diego Sanchez. So I'm going to go with Chiesa to get the finish here. I think he actually TKOs Diego late with some ground and pound. Now, Diego's definitely a hard guy to get out of there, but this is the end, man. So this could be it for Diego Sanchez. But I don't know. He's definitely on a heater right now. Of course, this is way, way past the days of Mickey Gall and who's that other fucker he beat? Craig White. Like, Chiesa's... miles would be an understatement above those guys, but yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one, man. I'm looking forward to sitting back and enjoying from a fan perspective. So moving on to the next one, man, I'm going to let you take this one first, because I believe you might be putting a play on it. We got the return of Luke Rockhold making his debut here at 205 pounds. He's minus 230, and he's taking on Jan Blachowicz plus 190. Who you got?
Yeah, so I just decided right now I will be making a play on it, and I got the underdog, man. I just Rockhold, man, like, the guy's, like, it's weird. He's a good fighter. He's the better fighter than Jan, but his chin is just so trash. And moving up to 205, like, I just don't think it's going to help him, man. Like, now he's fighting the bigger guys, man. And I'm so tired of hearing all these people on Twitter saying, it's embarrassing in my opinion, saying, oh my God, Jan has one knockout win. He's not going to knock out Rockhold. That does not matter. Like, this guy's chin is terrible. And Jan's striking, man, his boxing is very tactical. He has way better hands than Luke Rockhold. Yeah, Rockhold has good kicks. Like, come on. Like, that's it. Jan's going to get in his face and walk him down. He's going to be in his face, pressuring him the whole fight. And Jan, like, come on, man. He's freaking dropped Manoa multiple times. He dropped Cannonier. Like, yeah, he has one knockout win, against Blachowicz, that body kick. But, I mean, this dude hurts a lot of guys. Like, people are sleeping on this guy, man. Like, yeah, he got knocked out against Thiago Santos. And, what's funny is that was a close fight going in, that third round was 1-1, man. Like, Jan was winning that fight, in my opinion. And then he just got knocked out against the guy who's fighting John Jones. Against, one of the best guys in the division, if not, he's in the top 3 for sure, maybe even top 2. So the fact that he was on a 4-fight winning streak before that, I don't even think Jan's on the decline. I don't. Like, this dude, on the juice, I think. This dude is absolutely huge for 205. And, I mean, he has good grappling, too. He's a black belt. Like, I know Krylov took him down, but look what happened in that second round. He took down him and tapped him out. So, obviously, Rockhold has the grappling advantage. He's very good on top, but the guy doesn't even really go for takedowns that much. I mean, freaking come on, dude. Look at this guy's last 3 fights. Like, Branch was hurting him on the feet. Branch is – that guy's so far done. Like, oh, my God, dude. And freaking Michael Bisping has no knockout power at all, and he went out there and knocked him out. Like, Rockhold's chin is garbage, and freaking Yoel Romero killed him in that last fight. So I think this chin is deteriorating, man. And a lot of people are thinking that this is an easy fight for Rockhold and all this, but dude, oh my God. I mean, I'm gonna fade this guy like whenever I have the chance. Anthony Smith would absolutely kill him. So I mean, I think Jan's a good fighter, man. I really do, man. So I don't get it. He has good cardio. I mean, it's a great jab. That jab, dude, like he freaking knocked Cannonier's head back like twice, dude. So. But his right hand is probably his best weapon, but his jab is good too. So I think Blachowicz, man's going to go out there, man, get in his face and get a first-round knockout. And I'm tired of all this just trash on Twitter, man. People saying that Rockhold's gonna go out there and kill him and all this. Like, come on, dude. Like, Rockhold's, a good fighter, but his chin makes him, just a liability, man. This guy's just never gonna, be the same anymore. And I'll be fading him, man, whenever I have the chance. Like, this guy's overlooking Jan. He wants to fight John Jones. Like, you're fighting a top 5 guy right now, Blachowicz. You're not fighting, some bum or some jobber or anything. You're fighting a guy that, is bigger than you, that hits harder than you, that has a way better chin, way better jab, way better striking. And he has good takedown defense too. Like, this guy's takedown defense has come a long way. Look at the fight against Pat Cummings and look at now, man. Look at the Devin Clark fight. Like, come on, dude. Like, his grappling's definitely came a long way, man. So I think a lot of people are sleeping on this fight. I got to go with Jan by first round KO. And Luke Rockhold, your chin is just fucking terrible, man. All right, who do you got?
Man, you're gonna hate my breakdown. I'm pretty solid on Luke Rockhold here, man. I know we were both on Jan Blachowicz in the past. We both won on him in the past quite a bit. I'm a huge fan of Jan. I think he's a very exciting fighter. I mean, he's a great striker. He actually has really underrated jiu-jitsu as well. Comes from that KSW scene, which is extremely tough. He was out there fighting legends like Sokaju back in the day. Speaking of which, he lost that fight. But onto it, man. Like, Luke Rockhold, in my opinion, you mentioned that people are posting trash on Twitter that Jan only has 1 knockout, but I'm seeing some trash on Twitter about the size difference. Bro, do you guys not realize how fucking huge Luke Rockhold is? Like, he's still cutting 20, 30 pounds to make 205. Like, the dude is gigantic. The fact that he was able to make 185 in the first place absolutely blows my mind. Like, do not be surprised if Luke Rockhold is the guy in the octagon Saturday night that actually weighs more. Like, don't be shocked at all. And when you see stare downs too, like, Luke's gonna have size on this guy. In my opinion, Luke Rockhold is actually the bigger guy. And when it comes to the skills, yeah, you're right. Jan has better hands. He has definitely got the better chin for sure. But I mean, I really truly do think that cutting that 20 pounds less, I think that's going to make a difference on Rockhold's chin. I mean, we see guys go up in weight, and they're more durable. They can take shots better. And even if you want to talk about Rockhold's chin, like in those last 3 fights, he had the Michael Bisping fight. He, for whatever reason, got over cocky and put his hands down. And anybody's going to knock you out if you put your hands down. You got to show respect to absolutely anybody in the octagon. And I mean, since then, he's been fighting with his hands up. We haven't seen that same cockiness. You mentioned he got rocked by Dave Branch, and that's Dave Branch, blah, blah, blah. But Dave Branch knocked out the man fighting for a title this Saturday. He knocked out Thiago Santos with those same hands, and then Yoel Romero, who knocks out 95% of the division. And Jan Blachowicz, I mean, you say it's trash, but I mean, it's true, man. He really only does have 1 knockout in the UFC, and it's a body kick against Ilir Latifi. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have power. He does have power, and he can land clean here. It's just, I think the way they match up, he's not going to get many chances to land clean because I feel like Rockhold's going to have the better footwork. He's going to keep distance. He's going to kick away. He's going to kick that body. He's going to kick those legs, and eventually, in my opinion, he is going to land takedowns in a guy who has shown lack of takedown defense in the past. And Luke Rockhold, man, when he gets on top of anybody, it's a bad time. And you can say, Jan has really good jiu-jitsu. We might be able to neutralize Rockhold on the ground. I mean, Dave Branch has really high fucking level jiu-jitsu as well. He was not able to do shit with Rockhold on the ground. Rockhold, in my opinion, definitely has that best top game, arguably in the UFC. Just nasty ground and pound. I think I don't think he'll sub Jan, but I see him getting a round 3 TKO. So, got anything you want to add?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Just Rockhold, man, that chin, like, he's been knocked out 4 times, man. Like, all the damage has been taken. Like, his last 3 fights, even Branch hurt him. Like, in my opinion, the move up, like, I know, like, the move up's good for a lot of fighters, but for him, I don't think it is, man, because now he's fighting the heavier hitters, and Jan hits like a truck, man. His striking's really good. I don't care. He has 1 knockout, dude. So, I mean, Jan's been hurting a lot of guys, too. I think if Jan hurts him once, man, I feel like Rocco's going to find a way out, man. I really do. Another thing, too, like, I'm not going to look into this that much, but I think it's, definitely something that I've been thinking about is, I mean, the move to, hard knocks, like, for Rockhold, I don't think that's a good one, man. Like, they train super hard over there, and they spar like crazy. Like, that's only going to hurt his chin even more. He's fighting, like, killers over there, man. And those guys are probably, like, knocking him out, man, in practice every day, man. So Like that chin, man, is just such a liability. He might have the worst chin in the UFC right now, man. Like it's terrible, man. I'm telling you right now. So I can't pick a guy, man, that has a chin like that ever. I don't care if he's talented at all. Like it's bad, man. Bad.
So one more thing I'll add for your side with the current betting line, I will say that it's probably Jan or pass. That line is, I don't want to say it's off. I mean, I would personally line Rockhold just underneath -200, so like -190. So I definitely got enough respect for Jan not to bet Rockhold here. But the thing is, on DraftKings, dude, there's a ton of line value on Luke Rockhold. The salaries came out when it was a lot closer. Rockhold's only 8,400. He's a -220 favorite now. I mean, a -220 favorite, that usually indicates more like high 8,000s, 8,900, 8,800. So I'm going to be having a lot of Luke Rockhold on DraftKings. But I think from a betting perspective, you're probably on the right side.
He's +190 right now. That's the best he's ever gotten. So yeah, I'm definitely going to hit it probably right now.
So let's move on to this next one. We got man, I'm going to let you take this one. You got the play, but dude, I'm so excited for this fight. In my opinion, this is the people's main event. In my opinion, this is getting way more hype than either of the title fights, which is crazy considering you got the men's MMA GOAT, John Jones, in the main event, and then the women's MMA GOAT, Amanda Nunes, in the co-main event. In my opinion, this fight is getting the most love by far, dude. We got Ben Askren, -210, taking on Jorge, Gamebred Masvidal, +175. Justin, who you got?
Yeah, so I got 3 units on Masvidal +205. I think he's 175 now, and I think he's gotten like higher than 205. But this is a pure striker versus grappler matchup, and a lot of people may think that Masvidal is terrible takedown defense. I mean, it's like 80%, and the thing is, his get-up game is really good. You know, you got to go back to the Damian Maia fight, which is a split decision. You know, I thought that was a very close fight. I think Masvidal could have won that fight if he wanted to, but he initiated too much in the grappling, and Damian Maia like had a very hard time controlling him, man. Like really, he did. And Damian Maia has better jiu-jitsu than Ben Askren. Ben Askren probably has better control, but like, you know, Askren's an old guy, man, and he's taking a lot of damage, man. Like not even the Robbie Lawler fight, but even, you know, a couple fights outside the UFC. Like, you know, the guy is a really good grappler, but I mean, Masvidal is so much faster on the feet. I think Masvidal's going to throw out a lot of volume, man. I mean, I think Robbie Lawler, you know, hits harder. He's a knockout guy for sure, but I mean, Robbie Lawler's a declining fighter. Masvidal's a better fighter than Robbie Lawler. If they fought, I got Masvidal for sure. You know, Masvidal, people are talking crap about the Darren Till win, saying Darren Till's a joke. You know, Till, you know, he's a fraud, man, but I mean, he still has a lot of good wins. And I mean, you know, Masvidal knocked out Cerrone. Like, you know, Masvidal, you know, he's a good fighter, man. He's super motivated, man. If he wins this fight, he's probably going to get the title shot over Colby Covington. And, I mean, this kid on the feet, man, he's just so technical, man. And I think he's just going to jab away, man, and just hurt him multiple times. I think Askren could get him down, man. But, I mean, this kid's get-up game is legit. People are sleeping on Masvidal's wrestling, man. Like, this guy has good wrestling, man. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Masvidal took him down. I wouldn't, man. Robbie Lawler freaking picked up and slammed him, man. So Askren, you know, he's just not that athletic either. Like, Masvidal's just so much better on the feet, so much faster, but obviously, you know, I got to give the advantage on the mat to freaking Askren. Like, you know, the guy has a really good grappling game, but he doesn't have the jiu-jitsu, man, to go out there and tap. Now, I don't like, he has the control, but I think Masvidal's going to find a way up. I can't see Askren going out there and laying on him for 15 minutes. So I got to go with Masvidal here. I think he has the better, I mean, honestly, like, you know, I think Masvidal's the better cardio too. I think Askren's going to slow down. I think Masvidal is going to hurt him on the feet, and I got to go with Masvidal finish, man. I think he's going to put him away. I really do. I think he's going to put him away in the 3rd round. And Askren will be back. But, I mean, this is Masvidal's time right now, dude. This guy is going to get the title shot. And, I mean, if he fights Usman, I mean, I kind of want to see – I want him to fight Colby, man, because, I mean, I listened to an interview. Like, you know, they're boys. I mean, they're best friends. I mean, they used to be best friends. But Masvidal said he'll fight him, man, like, with, you know, without any hesitation. I guess they're not training that much together because, you know, they're getting so much closer in the division. So, damn, man, like that'd be such a good fight, Masvidal versus Colby, and damn, I got Masvidal by a finish here, man. What about you?
Man, such a good fight. Like I cannot wait till the cage door behind them locks and they throw down and wrestle and all the great stuff we're gonna see here, man. I mean, there's gonna be some taunting in this fight. Like there's gonna be some shit talking. This is gonna be a great fight, bro. Like the crowd is gonna be electric for this one, and you're right, it's definitely striker versus grappler. It's a matter of who can implement their game, and Like me personally, I was coming pretty close to betting Masvidal earlier in the week around the time you did. Um, Thing is, it's hard fading Askren, man. And I set a certain line in my head. I said if Masvidal hits this line, I'm gonna bet it, no questions asked, because that would just be crazy. That was plus 250. It never ended up hitting plus 250. A lot of money has come in on the side of Masvidal. So if you got plus 200 or better, like you did, I think that's a solid bet. But I'm gonna go as far to say that the value might even be on Ben Askren at this point, man, because when you look at how it goes, like in this fight, like yeah, Masvidal he's one of the best pure boxers in the sport. He's gone out there, he's knocked out Donald Cerrone, another amazing striker. Like Masvidal's the fucking man. Just killed Till as a huge underdog. He came through for me big against Darren Till. That was a nicely cashed bet there. But the thing about Askren can eat a fucking shot, dude. I mean that Robbie Lawler fight. I mean that's probably the fight that has ever came closest to being finished that wasn't finished. Like most refs, in my opinion, probably would have stopped that and given Robbie Lawler a first round TKO win. Like it was that close. And the fact that he was able to fight that off and overcome, like I forget who the ref was for that one, but huge props, dude. I mean, Ben Askren is such a warrior, such a tough, weird. I mean, the nickname Funky is just perfect for this guy. And the way he was just able to get a hold of Robbie and oh my gosh, dude. The dude is honestly a fucking freak. The way he's able to control people and advance position. I mean, you mentioned that he doesn't really have the jiu-jitsu to go along with it. Like, yeah, he's definitely not like a high-level BJJ guy. You don't see him coming in here letting these RNCs and the arm bars all over the place. Most of his wins are by decision. It's just he's so damn fucking good at winning those decisions, bro. So in my opinion, I feel like Masvidal has definitely got to knock him out in the feet. He's not going to really get anywhere on the mat, although Masvidal does have very underrated jiu-jitsu, and that can actually get him into trouble. I mean, you mentioned the Damian Maia fight. Like, I feel like Masvidal tried to prove a point there, and he tried to engage in a lot of the grappling with Damian Maia when he could have broken off. I mean, dude, I bet Jorge Masvidal on that Damian Maia fight, and I know a lot of other people that did, and he kind of flushed it away, bro. He could have won that fight, but in my opinion, I kind of feel like Ben Askren, like as high level as Damian Maia is with jiu-jitsu, like the way Ben Askren can hold on to people, I think that might even be a little bit tougher of a fight. Like Ben's just an animal, bro. So I see him winning at least 2 rounds here. I think there might be a round where Jorge's able to keep it on the feet, and he's going to bust up Askren's face. Like minus 300 that Ben Askren has a bloody nose by the end of this fight. But I feel like when it's all said and done, he will be able to hold down Masvidal, land some ground and pound for at least 2 out of 3 rounds. And another thing, a reason why I kind of like Ben Askren a decent amount on DraftKings this week. Firstly, he's 8,700, way lower than most of the guys. Secondly, he's a grappler. That's what you look for in DK. And then thirdly, with the stylistic matchup, Jorge is a really, really good get-up game. So I feel like we're going to see Jorge get taken down. He's going to get up, and he's going to get taken down again. I feel like this might be a spot where Ben Askren lands his own personal takedown record. I could see a lot of takedowns in this fight, which equals a lot of points. So I like Ben Askren. At the current line, I think Ben Askren's the value. And then in DraftKings, I think he's the value as well. I know you disagree, but it's Jorge Masvidal. I'm never gonna down someone for betting a guy like Jorge Masvidal at such amazing odds. It's just stylistically, it's a bad one. So we're moving on to the next fight now. We got the co-main event, bro. Amanda Nunes coming off that insane KO of Cyborg, becoming a 2-division champ, first ever in women's MMA history. She's minus 180, taking on Holly Holm here, plus 315. Oh, dude, Holly Holm got another title shot. What a surprise, right? Crazy. She got a title shot off a Megan Anderson decision win. Like, yikes, dude. And, that's not the purpose of this fight, though. I mean, obviously, Holly Holm isn't the rightful #1 contender. I mean, you can argue girls like Ketlin Vieira even have that title shot a little bit more.
She's hurt, though. That's why I feel like she would have got the crack, but she's hurt.
She's been hurt for a while, too.
Either her or Aspen Ladd should have got the shot ahead of Holm.
Man, I am so excited for that Aspen Ladd GDR fight next week. That's a good one. But what I was saying, man, I mean, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, Holly, I mean, yeah. So this fight's being made because Holly Holm, She's the former champion. I mean, she's got a huge name. She is a star. I mean, if you go out there and head kick, kill Ronda Rousey as like a plus 800 favorite or plus 800 dog, you're going to become a star. And that's exactly what she did. Holly Holm draws people in. Not to mention she's not half bad on the eyes either, man. So, I mean, this fight is purely being made to continue to build the legacy of the greatest women's MMA fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes. And how they match up, bro, like, I can't believe this isn't one of those fights where it's like a minus 600 favorite like the Shabazian and Jones fight. Like, I don't see how Holly wins this fight, dude. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the feet, Holly's got that real technical boxing and even kickboxing. Like, her kicks are nasty as well. It's just Nunes got a fucking chin on her. Nunes is able to close the distance. I mean, Holly's going to try to circle. But Amanda Nunes is going to catch up to her on that one, and man, she is going to crack Holly every time she gets in on the inside. Like Holly's got a pretty good chin too. It's just Nunes is just going to be cracking her up, and I feel like Nunes eventually is going to be able to wobble her and probably go for. She's probably going to go for a takedown. I feel like there's just an astronomical difference between jiu-jitsu on the mat between these two ladies. Man, I might go as far to say is one takedown and it could be over here. I mean, we saw, I'm sure she's improved on her jiu-jitsu since then, but I mean, you look at the Miesha Tate Holly Holm fight, like Holly was able to just like massacre her on the feet, just outpoint her all day long. But then there was that second round where all Miesha needed was one takedown, and she ended up getting a 10-8 round there in the second, and then loses the third and the fourth, and then the fifth round, all it takes is one kind of easy takedown for Miesha Tate in the fifth round of a championship fight. And obviously, Miesha pulls off one of the greatest upsets in MMA history that night. She was like a plus 400 underdog. Holly Holm, obviously, her whole is the jiu-jitsu. So although it's been the striking from Amanda Nunes lately that's been doing the trick, I feel like definitely her jiu-jitsu is the path to go here. Clearly, the biggest argument for Holly Holm in this spot is the cardio. Amanda Nunes showed some gassing problems in the past, but I feel like we haven't really seen that in recent years. Like, you look, I mean, she just went 5 rounds with Valentina Shevchenko, looked completely fresh at the end of the fight. Like, there was a lot of people going in there like, oh man, we got a live bet Shevchenko if it goes past the second or third. Like, she's not cutting any weight. She's smaller. Amanda Nunes is huge. She has a gassing problem. Valentina's going to finish her in the later rounds, and it was Amanda Nunes that was winning the later rounds against Valentina Shevchenko, in my opinion. Like, Nunes has clearly fixed that hole in her game. She's just, I mean, as close as you can get to a perfect women's MMA fighter. Nunes is a savage. I see her winning this fight by second round rear naked choke. And I got her in that parlay with Edmen. I got 4 units on Nunes, Edmen. And then I even got a 3-leg parlay, getting a little cheeky with Nunes, Edmen, and Naurdiev at plus 101. So all in on Nunes, man.
Yeah, so I just bet Blachowicz, by the way. So 3 units on him. So I have 3 units on him, Masvidal, and Arnold Allen. But anyways, on the matchup, yeah, I do think Amanda Nunes is better everywhere. She's the female GOAT, in my opinion. You know, she's really good, man. She's a beast. She's the one out there and deaded cyborg. But I do think there's a couple girls that could beat her, and I do think that Kelton, Vera, and Askren Ladd. But yeah, Holly Holm, she shouldn't be getting a title shot. You know, Holm, you know, she's not. I mean, she went on a pre-fight losing streak, but I don't think she's a fraud. Like, I think Holm's a pretty good fighter. Like, you know, she had a very close fight with GDR. Yeah, I mean, she has, you know, she dances around, good kicks, you know, good chin for sure. But I mean, I think Amanda Nunes is better everywhere. You know, Holm has good cardio, but yeah, I mean, the line's a little off in my opinion, but yeah, I got Amanda Nunes. I think she's gonna win, and that's my short breakdown on that. So main event. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Jon Jones, the GOAT, versus Thiago Santos. I'm a big Jon Jones fan, man. He's definitely like probably my favorite fighter, man, ever. I love the dude. Like, I know he has some stuff like, you know, drama in the past, but I mean, a lot of people, man, just don't like this guy. I don't know why, man. He's just so good, dude. Like, he's undefeated, man. And honestly, I don't know who's going to beat him. I feel like the only 2 people right now in my head that could beat Jon Jones are Johnny Walker in the future and Francis if they fight at heavyweight. But Jon Jones is not going to go to heavyweight. He's going to stay at 205. And this dude is just so good, man. He's good everywhere, and he's so smart. Like, his fight IQ is the best. This dude's not going to brawl with Thiago Santos. Like, this guy can hurt Santos easily, man, and knock him out. But this dude's probably going to take him down immediately, man, and just get a first-round finish on the mat. Like, this dude is so much better on the mat. You know Santos is working that takedown defense, but I'll be surprised if Jones brawls with him. But then again, like, if Jones strikes him in the feet, he still has the advantage. But, I mean, I feel like Santos' only shot is if Jones brawls and he clips him. But, I mean, I think this is, I don't say locks and all that stuff, but, I mean, this is an easy matchup for Jones, in my opinion. Santos is a really, really dangerous fighter, but Jones just levels above everybody in that division right now, man. People are saying Rockhold can beat him. Like, oh, my God. Rockhold can't even beat Blachowicz, man. So, I mean, Jones is going to go out there and absolutely smoke Thiago Santos. He's the guy to own on DraftKings. I know he's expensive, but, I mean, he's going to get a lot of points. I actually, I'll say this. Santos is a pretty tough dude. I think Jones could drop him like more than once and then maybe just get takedowns and kind of just get, control him. But I think Jones is going to get a lot of points and he's going to absolutely tool Thiago Santos. So I got Jones. I got him with a first-round finish. And, Santos will be back. After Rockhold takes this out, like, give Rockhold Thiago Santos. Like, that would be a great, great, great win for Thiago Santos. Who do you got?
Be a good one. But yeah, man, we got the main event here. We got Jon Jones minus 690, Thiago Santos plus 495. So this is the widest line on the card, and probably for a good reason, man. I mean, obviously, when you look at Thiago Santos, he pretty much has a clear path against just about anybody. I mean, the dude has bombs in his hands. He can kick like a mule. I mean, he's a very, very dangerous fighter. I actually think he has some underrated wrestling and jiu-jitsu as well. I think Thiago Santos is actually going to have a really, really good career at light heavyweight, similar how Jon Jones simply just had to out-technique and outclass Anthony Smith. It doesn't mean Anthony Smith is not going to go anywhere in the division. I mean, we just saw what he did against Gus. I think Thiago's going to come out here. He's going to take this loss, and he's probably going to win a few fights. It's just, with this one, man, I feel like Jon Jones, he's the fucking best, dude. I mean, I feel like he's going to have the perfect game plan here. Obviously, if I'm Jon Jones' coach, I mean, in that first round, I'm keeping the distance and I'm chipping away at the legs, trying to take out that power as fast as I can. So, and then obviously the wrestling, Jon Jones, one of the most underrated wrestlers. I mean, that's proven at this point. He's taken down DC, one of the best wrestlers in MMA history. I mean, I don't have to come in here and talk Jon Jones up. We all know how damn good the guy is and how good he is absolutely everywhere, man. And he obviously has huge advantages in this fight. There's areas of this fight he might want to stay away from. Like, he's obviously not going to want to, like, stay in the pocket with Thiago Santos. He's clearly not going to do that. Like, I've seen interviews of him saying, I'm not worried about Thiago Santos' power, but, I mean, he's definitely worried about Thiago Santos' power, and he's not going to come in here and be stupid. I mean, when have we ever seen Jon Jones? I mean, the guy's smart. He knows
his fight IQ is the best, and
he knows what the fuck he's doing. Like, I know he comes out and tries to beat guys at their own game a lot, and I feel like even if he did go in there and stand in the pocket with Thiago Santos and fucking throw down with that dude in all-out war, I would still probably take Jon Jones in that type of fight. Obviously, his chances would decrease a fucking significant amount, but I don't know. I'm just sitting here trying to think of a way Thiago Santos wins this fight, and that's all up to Jon Jones. It's definitely Jon Jones' fight to lose. I mean, if Jon Jones fights a certain way, he's really as close as you can get to a lock without actually being a lock. I mean, when he gets on top of Santos, I see him just raining down serious ground and pound. Probably, he might even walk up a rear naked choke. I do think he's going to finish this fight. So, yeah, I got Jon Jones, and he's definitely worth the 9,600 on DraftKings. And I'm going to have a little bit of Thiago Santos as well, because you never know. I mean, even if he's 6,600, bro. I mean, that makes so much room. I mean, for cash games, if he comes in here, all he has to do, he doesn't have to win the damn fight. If he knocks down Jon Jones once and gets a 10-point knockdown, racks up a few other significant strikes, like, I'll take 30 points from the guy at 6,600 in cash games.
I think Chance is the dog to own, honestly. I mean, he's, like, super cheap. But anyways, yeah, so my bets are 3 units on Arnold Allen with the Menifil parlay. He's plus 102, so I have him straight now. 3 units on Blachowicz, 3 units on Masvidal. I do think Chance is live. I picked Naurdiev, but I do think the Chance is live. What are your bets one more time?
Yeah, man. So obviously the big one, I got 7 units on Arnold Allen at minus 225. I got a 2-leg of Nunes and Edmen. I got a 3-leg of Nunes, Edmen, and Naurdiev. Avila and Naurdiev 2-leg, and then I got the 1.5 unit shot on random markers at plus 200.
All right, so before we go, we got a great card next week. I already have 3 plays in that card. They're all dogs. I have 3 units on Claudia, Jorge Claudia, 3 units on Van Buren, and 3 units on Askren Lad, all plus money. That's a great card. If Ryan Hall hits plus money, I'll probably be on that too, but I don't know if he will. And yeah, man, I love UFC, man. I'm so excited. We have 9 straight cards, man. So in a row. And do you have any plays you want to talk about for next week yet?
Yeah, man, for that SAT card, I did have 2, but unfortunately, Gian Vellante decided to pull out of his fight. So I did have an insanely good line on Mike Rodriguez. I had minus 160. He got all the way up to minus 320, but I still do have 1 play on there. It is a 5-unit play on Ricky Simone. I got minus 220 on him. And then even the card after that, I completely forget where it is. Where's that Dos Anjos? Oh, San Antonio. That San Antonio card, I do have 1 play on that as well. Irene Aldana, I was able to catch her at minus 105. I got 3 units on that. I feel like Aldana's going to come out and beat the hell out of Rocky Pennington.
Easy. Yeah. The guy that's fighting Mike Rodriguez now, Wasa Mamute. Mamute is the biggest jobber I've ever even heard of in the world. And this dude beat him. Like, oh my God, man. Mamute is trash. This dude, like, oh my God. Paul Craig would beat him, literally. And I'm a hater on Paul Craig. Like, the dude, I fade him. But, dude, Paul Craig would absolutely demolish Mamute. You heard that here. Clint, if you're listening right now, Paul Craig would kill Mamute. So, yeah, one more thing. Happy 4th of July for everybody. And I can't wait, man, to wear my, red, white, and blue America shirt and eat a lot of barbecue. So I hope everyone has a good weekend, has a good day. And I hope everyone catches their best unless they're going against me and unless they're going against Kelton. But without further ado, I can't wait till next week. And I hope everyone has a good 4th of July. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, man, I'm just overall excited for this weekend. So obviously the card on Saturday, my birthday's on Sunday. I always kill it for these birthday weekends, this international fight week. They used to do like 2 or 3 cards in the whole weekend. They used to do like the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That was awesome.
Then my birthday would always be like right around that. So that's fun. But hey, man, I'll take one amazing card. It is what it is.
I can't wait. And we got Contender Series next week. Dude, there are some good fights. I already have one guy that I'm going to bet when the lines drop, but I don't know what the line's going to be on him. But I can't wait, man. And yeah, man, so I hope everyone has a good week. And peace out. Rockhold sucks. Terrible gin.